Have you ever tried losing weight, but it did not work? If you did, I know exactly how you feel, because for the probably 5 to 6 years, initially, this was 25 years ago when I tried to lose weight. I tried every single diet known to man, 2 hours of exercise a day, starvation. I've tried everything, and I just kept gaining more weight back. Well, these are the 5 things that I wish I knew back then about weight loss that would have saved me, years of misery and suffering. And today, I'm going to share that with you so you don't have to do that, because I went through all the, sufferings and mistakes and very, very hard learned lessons, so I can give them to you today. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. But before we go there, click the subscribe button below, because on this channel, you're going to learn how to build a strong, healthy, high-performing 7-figure body without starvation, cardio, or giving up carbs, or any of the other BS that this industry is based on. This is Coach Amir from 7figurebody.com, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 things that I wish I knew 25 years ago when I started trying to lose weight. These are the things that if I had known them, they would have saved me years and years and years of misery and suffering and all kinds of things that I wish that you actually, I don't wish, you don't have to go through them, because I'm going to give them to you on a silver platter. So let's go right into it. First thing, calories are king. Calories are absolute king for weight loss and weight gain. AKA, there's a certain number of calories that we call maintenance calories. Let's hypothetically say we have an individual, let's say a guy, 200 pounds, and he eats 3,000 calories a day, and we calculate that's his maintenance. What does that mean? That means if he eats 3,000 calories a day, he will not gain weight, he will not lose weight, he will maintain exactly as he is, same body fat and weight that he is right now is going to stay at it, okay? So that's why calories are king. If you eat over that, so let's say this guy eats over 3,000, he's going to be gaining weight. If he eats under 3,000, he's going to be losing weight. And of course, in a bunch of other videos I talked about, weight, can be lost from muscle, fat, intestinal matter, glycogen, water, of course, which is the most common thing that happens with, rapid weight loss. But essentially, calories are always king. So it doesn't really matter. Let's hypothetically say the same guy who is eating 3,000 calories to maintain starts eating 2,000 calories, so he's in a 1,000 calorie deficit every day, but all he eats is a pile of white sugar. So he's eating like a little pile of 500 grams or 2,000 calories of white sugar. He's eating nothing else. No protein, no fats, no other carbs, no other foods, nothing. Just, 500 grams of sugar. What would happen? Would he lose weight? The answer is absolutely yes. Of course he would. He's in a 1,000 calorie deficit every single day. 3,000 maintenance, he's eating 2,000. That 1,000 calorie deficit, he would absolutely be losing weight. Now, of course, this is a horrible idea. I suggest nobody ever do this. But if you were to hypothetically do it, you would absolutely lose weight because you are in a deficit. Of course, because there's no protein, this guy would be losing a lot of muscle, some body fat too, but he certainly would be losing weight. So remember, all the other, keto zealots and carnivore zealots, all the other confused people that don't understand how any of this works, say that or think that calories either don't matter or, well, maybe they matter depending on what you eat, right? And of course, that most of these low carb zealots these days, because we are, for the last decade or two, we've been in a, low carb and carbs are bad kind of, part of this journey, which basically this industry just jumps from fats are bad, eat all the carbs in the 80s, and then carbs are bad, eat all the fats for the last 20 years or more. So essentially, we are now in the carbs are bad, right? Probably a couple of years from now, decade, whatever it's going to be again. Oh, no, we figure out the carbs are actually really amazing, and then fats are horrible, so just, have your low, because that's really what it all comes down to. So, of course, a lot of these people are confused because they don't understand how any of this works, and because of that, they think as long as you cut your carbs, you're fine. You can have 10 steaks and gallon of oil and blocks of butter, and you have 15,000 calories a day from protein and fats. You'll be fine. You won't gain weight. Now, of course, if you ever try anything like that, you will notice that you will be getting fat really quickly if you did that, because calories are king. So remember, nothing ever changes the calorie in, calorie out. Balance equation is dynamic, but nothing, meaning if you start eating less, your output of calories reduces and vice versa. And that is all fine and dandy. However, nothing ever changes the fact that to lose weight, you gotta be in a calorie deficit. If you are in a calorie surplus, you'll be gaining weight. And of course, in an ideal world, you'll be gaining all of it from muscle, but it doesn't happen most of the time. Just look around, look how people look wherever you are. So number one, calories are king. Number two, do not use the scale to track or gauge your weight loss progress. This one, I probably ditched the scale 20 plus years ago, meaning I stopped. I can still hop on a scale, but I don't really care what it says. Here's why. Because a lot of people will tell you that the skinnier and thinner and lighter you are, the better, right? This is absolutely not true. This is 100% incorrect, by the way, because actually opposite is true. Because given the same fat percentage, being lean enough, let's say a man at 12, 13% body fat, let's say a woman at 22, 23% body fat. If a woman weighs 150 pounds and she's 22%, versus she weighs 130 pounds and she's 22%. It's actually better that she weighs more because that means she actually has more muscle. Same for men as well. Given the same leanness level, heavier person has more muscle, which is amazing. Having more muscle within the natural limit is always better. It gives you, better immune system. You are stronger and more resistant to all the diseases. You look better and you live longer, simply because one of the main reasons is that the muscle is actually the richest tissue in the human body with glucose receptors, which controls your insulin. And insulin is known as the getting older, hormone, aging hormone. So it's actually better glucose control you have, the longer you will live. So because high glucose and high blood sugar cause inflammation, can increase and does increase all of your risk of heart attacks and cardiovascular diseases, etc. So that's the number one. Number two thing was do not use the scale. Instead, use body fat calipers or see how your clothes fit, etc. But do not use the scale. It doesn't really matter much. Okay. Number three thing that I wish I knew 25 years ago is that cardio is not actually needed at all, and is certainly not the answer to your weight loss problems. So if you want to lose weight, you do not need to do cardio. Here's why. Is doing 1 to 2 hours of cardio per week, whether you want it to 2 sessions of an hour each, you break it down in 4 sessions of half an hour, or whatever, is that healthy and good for you? Absolutely. Should you do it? Yes. 100% good, healthy, awesome for you. On the other hand, let's say you hate cardio and don't like it. Can you still be lean, healthy, look great, feel great, and live a long life? Absolutely. You absolutely can. So you don't need to do cardio at all if you don't like it. If you like it, by all means, go do it. It's good for you. If you don't like it, it's fine. You can just lift weights, focus on your diet, build muscle, and get lean as much as you want, and live, very long life. Awesome. However, when it comes to losing weight, think about it. A mile ran, so let's say you run 3 miles, you burn 300 calories because a mile is usually 100 calories burned. So you run 3 miles 3 times a week. So 9 miles a week, which is 900 calories. You're like, man, yes, I'm gonna lose all the weight. Okay, 900 calories a week. A pound of fat has 3,500 calories. It's gonna take you 4 weeks to lose 1 pound of fat if you're running 3 miles 3 times a week. Who is going to wait 1 month to lose 1 pound of body fat? Who's going to stay on that plan? No human is ever going to stay on that plan. So that shows you that. And then, of course, some will say, well, but what if I do 5 hours of cardio a day? Well, I would say that is awesome. It would work. However, who can do 5 hours of cardio a day unless they are a professional endurance athlete? And then professional endurance athletes don't really have a weight problem. They don't really need to lose weight, don't you think? So you can see that in any normal kind of scenario where you actually have, a business, a life, a family, and other things you want to do instead of just doing 6 hours of cardio a day, right? So if you want to have a life, it's very logistically unlikely that you're going to be doing 6 hours of cardio a day. Okay, number one. Number two, you don't really need to. In that case, yeah, you would burn a lot of calories. That would, lead to weight loss, sure. But realistically, that's not going to happen. And as I said, you don't really need to do cardio at all. So I was told, back 25 years ago, oh, you got to run. Lose weight, running is the thing. I used to run 2 hours every day, and then of course I would get so hungry after that I would eat like a pig. And of course, it's so much easier. Imagine you're running, 5 miles, right? And you're like, man, I'm so hungry, and that's 500 calories burned, hopefully. It's usually less, but let's say it's 500 calories burned. But now you go home, and you're like, I'm so hungry, then you eat 500 calories more than you normally would, and guess what? All that work was, you got fitter, and it's good for you, sure. Did you lose any weight? No. So you don't have to do cardio at all if you don't like it. If you do like it, it's awesome for health, and being fit, but not for weight loss, because the calories that you burn through cardio are always smaller number than we expect, and therefore they affect the calorie in and calorie out equation minimum. They don't really. So basically, cardio is not really an effective weight loss tool at all. It's actually one of the most ineffective weight loss tools that you can use. All right. Now, this leads us straight into the fourth part, which is walking is underrated. Guys, I have described in the first video on our channel, you can click here to watch it, the four components that you every day that your body uses to burn calories. One of them is called NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. In plain English, it's all the activity that you do that burns calories that is not official exercise. So, gardening, cleaning the house, buying food, taking care of the kid, like anything that you do that's like washing a car, anything that you do that's kind of moving around and being active that is not official exercise. And of course, within this is walking. Walking is the most underrated thing, or one of the most underrated things in all of health and fitness. And especially when it comes to health, it's extremely healthy for you to walk. Does it burn calories? Yes, it doesn't burn a lot of them, but it still does. If you do 10,000 steps every day, it's actually going to be a very, very, very significant positive, addition to your calories out part of the equation every day. Because 10,000 steps is 400 to 500 calories burned. That's really good. So that's why walking is underrated. You should walk more and move more. What I suggest to all of my clients is 8,000 to 10,000 steps every day. Build that as a habit. And if you do that, you're going to add, a decade to your natural lifespan compared to doing less than 5,000 steps a day, which is an average American. So those are the four. And then the fifth thing is patience is king, meaning long-term perspective. And actually, the longer-term perspective you have, it's actually really hard to lose because it keeps you motivated and it keeps you to, basically on track. So patience is king. One of the biggest issues that I see is, somebody saying, hey, I need to really lose weight and get in great shape. I'm like, okay, what's your fat percentage? Just 30%. Okay, so guy at 30%, it's gonna be months and months, probably 4 to 6 months before we can have a full transformation. I'm like, okay, so what is the timeline? He's like, 3 weeks. 3 weeks from now, I'm going on vacation. I want to lose, 25 pounds of fat in 3 weeks. Okay, good luck. It's never going to work. Right? So patience is king. This is the fifth thing that I wish I knew out of the 5 things that are the biggest things that I wish I knew 25 years ago when I was starting out. If I was just, able to stick to something that at least half makes sense, like moderately makes sense, a diet that is kind of moderate protein, moderate carbs, moderate fats, like a little bit of exercise, like two lifting workouts a week. If you just stick to that long enough, instead of having I gotta be in great shape and look like, the best version of me, like shredded with abs in 5 weeks. Well, if I didn't have that mindset, if I said, hey, what happens if I had that over 5 months? I would have actually lost weight and been in great shape way, way, way sooner than I did. It took me 5 or 6 years, and I finally went to pharmacy school and learned the science. And then I'm like, oh, okay, it all makes sense when you know that you can lose about a pound, maybe 1 to 2 pounds of body fat per week. It just gives you the timeline, like a rough estimate of how long it's going to take to figure out that you need to lose 25 pounds of fat. Okay, we're talking, like a lot of my clients on average lose that in 12 to 14 weeks. Okay, but that's, 3 months, 3 to 4 months. That's not, 3 weeks. So this is and again, when you have a timeline of, let's say you're 40 years old now, and, with proper care, I believe that any human being can live to be 100 years old, and you're now 40, you have 60 years to benefit from getting in shape and staying in that same shape forever. So does it actually matter if it takes you 3 months or 5 months or 2 months to get in shape if you're going to benefit from that for the next 60 years? Just an example. If you look at things from that perspective, everything changes. So guys, those are the 5 things I wish I knew when I was starting out. Please use this right away. Number 1, calories are king. Number 2, do not use the scale to measure weight loss progress. Number 3, cardio is not a weight loss tool. It's an extremely inefficient weight loss tool. Number 4, walking is underrated. Please walk more. Aim for 4 to 5 miles every day of just general walking. You don't have to do it at once, but you can break it. It's actually better if you break it in smaller, shorter increments. And then 5, please have a longer term perspective. Be patient and do not expect to be transformed in a month So I've been overweight for 20 years. Okay, so what is the timeline you're giving yourself to build new habits and change that? 3 weeks. Well, good luck. Right? Let's think with a longer term perspective of 3 to 6 months. Is, again, I've been doing this for a living literally my whole life since I came out of pharmacy school for 14 years now. 1,200 clients. I've never transformed anybody in 3 weeks, I'll tell you that, but I've transformed 1,200 people in the time between 3 and 6 months. So, you can do the same if you just have that little bit longer perspective of give yourself a couple of months. You're going to be surprised what can be done. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button below, and I'll see you in the next video.